45th reunion of an outstanding basketball team at Union College, the 1971-72 team. 19 wins, 3 losses, one of the best modern-day win-to-loss career records of any team in Union College basketball. More importantly, a group of great friends. 11 out of the 13 players and all the coaches came back for a team that played together the last game over 45 years ago, and that tells you something about the closeness of this team. And really excited to see our coaches, Gary Walters, head coach, Bill Scanlon, assistant coach, and let them know the profound impact they had. Union College is a great academic school, but at that time it was also a great basketball school. I was there when we had the first women join Union College. I was there when they made the movie The Way We Were, believe it or not. And I was there when basketball was king. Profound impact that the team had, the players, the coaches, was really twofold. First of all, they allowed us to understand that every part of our life is a team. Our family's a team. Schools and the academic work you do can be a team, and the projects you do. Your job is a team effort. And most importantly, everybody's got to know their role. And Coach Walters and Scanlon imparted to us an understanding that what you do best within that team is what you should stick with. And if you can stick with that role and understand the most important part of what they taught us, and that is if the individual doesn't care who gets the credit, the team, the group, and the individual can achieve outstanding and unbelievable successes, and they can all rejoice in it and take credit in it.
It was a local team. That's one thing that I think we don't really have now, but there was a sense that we were all from the same community. We were familiar with each other. And we had similar games in terms of we had played against each other and had a lot of respect for each other. That didn't have to be earned because we had developed that when we were in high school. Jimmy was a quiet leader. He really was. And he was the heart and soul of that team. And he had a will to win. And I can remember him playing when he had, just a very high temperature. He was just something to play with, and he just would do anything for anybody. He showed great leadership back then, as he does in the Senate today. So I think everybody's lucky to have him around.
I think Gary Walters brought in a type of philosophy that resonated and everyone bought into in terms of sharing the ball. Jimmy he averaged 29 points a game, almost 30 points a game his sophomore year, his first year on the varsity, because freshmen weren't allowed to play. And Gary came in and said, look, you're going to have to cut down on your points, probably because you're going to cut down on your shots. And he bought into it, and everyone else did, and we had enough talent that those guys stepped up and they appreciated what a true team is all about and the outcomes of what true teamwork can achieve.
When you have a winning culture, which is what this team had, and you collectively work hard to achieve, and you do so by sacrificing for your teammates, you develop bonds that transcend time. And so these guys were warriors. They were great guys. They played hard together. They were best friends. They remain best friends. And so you can come back 50 years later and pick up a conversation just like yesterday you were in the locker room. And that's something that's very difficult to put into words. And the reality is that these guys can communicate with each other without even saying a word. Somebody once said, words hurt her sweet, those unheard her sweeter. Well, when you have the collective experiences that these guys have, that's a great example of that. But still, it's so great to get back and reune, as they say, at Union. The campus has never looked better. One other thing is that these guys have been amazingly successful in their lives, and so it's not only great to have had those experiences while they were here, but most importantly to see what they've been able to do in their careers and to see the success they've had. It's fabulous. It was a magical year. We had as many as 3,000 people attending games at Union. The most significant thing about it, probably as much as anything, it was a very difficult time for the country. We were going through any number of major changes with the background of the Vietnam War and civil rights being first and foremost among them, which made life on campus, given the activism that was occurring within student bodies across the country, somewhat, well, it created some fractiousness within student bodies. But I think one of the great things about what our team did was because they worked so collectively hard together, they gained the respect of all the students at Union. And as Harold Martin told me, the president of Union at the time, he thanked the team and the coaching staff for creating a sense of unity and spirit for the college. And so it was great to have their performance actually, in some ways, be transcendent as it impacted the greater student body and the campus and the town.
The guys were great. Actually, they were all mostly sophomores and juniors, and they were a lot of local guys. Chris Schmidt had recruited a lot of them, who was the coach before Walters. And they were the stars of the team. They were terrific. Jimmy obviously was the real star, but Backer and Doyle and Jeff, they were all great to play with. It was a really good team, clutch team. But those were also very difficult times. That was in the middle of all the Vietnam conflict, and it was a crazy time to be a student. And everyone was into like the long hair and protesting, so the basketball was a little out of sync. But we drew really good crowds, which was nice, and the team had a lot of support. We had I think a long winning streak at one point, so I had a lot of good memories. But as in most teams, it's about the camaraderie you have with everybody that you remember the most, which is why this is so terrific. Even if you don't see someone for 5 years, it's like you catch up immediately.
Gary Walters, Bill Scanlon, those guys, they were real competitive guys, and they knew basketball inside and out. And so they directed us, and they gave you enough freedom to play. But you also ran some stuff that was maybe a little new or a little different at the time. So those teams, and this 72 team in particular, was just we just played together so well, and again, leadership from the coaching staff, and all the guys cared about winning. Doyle, Backer, Walker, just cared about winning and did whatever it took to win, but we enjoyed it as we were moving along. There was a fondness that we had for each other, as a team, and then as you move away from it a little bit, you start to realize that, wow, that was you don't see it that often. I've been coaching for a number of years, and it's I don't know if it's rare, but it's uncommon that you feel this like love or fondness or affection for the guys you played with, and so you got to recognize how special it was, and I think that's why you see this great attendance here, because people, again, stepping away from it, say, wow, we had something there.
So we put together a heck of a team, and I know probably those of us, because we're local, we're very happy that we were able to take care of Siena the 2 times we played them. So it was always a big deal. And, it just worked out to be a great career. And obviously, 45 years later, we're still here, still best buds. And especially those of us who are local, we get together to see Jimmy quite a bit, Pezzi, Mike Doyle, Chucky, Jeff. So it's been really great. And that's the best thing I got out of basketball is lifelong friends. So I'm very fortunate. It's the intangibles, you love the game of basketball, you pulled so hard for each other, you worked so hard together, and had a lot of fun. Believe me, it's a lot of fun, especially when you're winning, but just the crazy stuff you do when you're a kid, just fun, innocent stuff, and the quips and the quotes and the card games on the bus at 4 in the morning and the laughter and that kind of thing. It all kind of just builds, and I think that, you learn how to sacrifice, and other guys are out all hours of the night and you can't be because you got to get ready for practice or a game or double sessions over the Christmas holidays or the notorious 8:30 to midnight practices every Christmas night. I mean, when you put that kind of a sacrifice into something, I think you learn a little bit about yourself. So when you go on later in life, you figure out, you can handle things because you're used to, and you can always pick up the phone if you want somebody to give you some advice or give you, some support or something like that. So it's hard, went so fast. 45 years, it doesn't seem possible. And like I said, the main thing I got out of it, I'm sure most guys would say, is the friendship and the support.
I mean, we really cared for one another. We were friendly back in college, and we're still very close friends. We were from all over the country. Only one player is deceased, and one of the other two that you just mentioned, the family's coming from California just for this weekend, and it just says a lot, I think, for how much we care about one another and the closeness of this team. It was a very close-knit team, and I think basketball's helped when you have a close-knit bunch of guys. They want to help one another achieve the ultimate goal, and that's win each game.
Joel Roslin, class of 72. Came in with our mom here to meet all the guys on the team and just honor our dad to be here. Our dad really believed in the combination of academics and athletics, right? And he obviously had that here at Union. All the guys here did. He completely respected Coach Walters, and so that was a big part of our upbringing. So we all played sports growing up, we all played basketball. So Scott played lacrosse in college, and the three of us played water polo. And just the camaraderie and everything you learn from being a part of a team is something that certainly was passed down to all of us.
We had some additional players that came onto that team that strengthened the team, and they were good players. And whether it be Mike Doyle, whether it be Tommy Backer, Bill Carmody, Chuck Gaba, we just had it was a strong team. It was stronger than the year before. We had depth, and as a result of that, we were going to spread the ball around. When I first came to Union, Jimmy had averaged about 30 points a game, and I did tell him that we're going, in order for this team to be successful, we're going to have to reduce. You've got to be taking only good shots, and we have to increase the quality of our defensive play. And it took a while for Jim to buy into that, only because he had. In some ways, he had never played. He had to restrain his game for the benefit of the team. Okay, and that's always a challenge when you're trying to change someone's self-image, self-perception of who and what they are. But when he started to see the wins pour in, then that changed.
Well, my time at Union started in 1965 as a freshman, and started as a chemistry major. Didn't do particularly well as a chemistry major, so I did, as I've been calling it, a 3-year internship with my uncle, including 1 year in Southeast Asia.
That's why I asked. But a week ago she said that.
Came back and rejoined the basketball. Came back to college in 1969 and played on the basketball team as a sophomore, and stayed with it as a junior, as a sixth man on the team.
Oh, we had a great time. I mean, successful. 45 years later, we're all still friends.
I wish Chris Schmidt could be here because he brought a lot of us together, and he had a knack to recruit people, and we were brought together on a beautiful campus, got a great education, and Coach Walters and Coach Scanlon kind of put it all together, and I just had fond memories of it, and it was great.
Jimmy was not originally supposed to go to Union. Tommy was supposed to go to Holy Cross. I was supposed to go to Brown, and we just happened to be at Union at the same time.
We came together as one unit and did some special things.
Well, the fact that it's our 45th reunion, 11 out of 13 players came back, and one of the players couldn't come back. His name was Joel Roslin. He was a surgeon out in California, head surgeon of a hospital out there, and died of cancer, melanoma, not too long ago. But this illustrates the great bond and unbelievable friendship and family concept we had together, because today his wife flew in all the way from California to be with the other 11 players who were able to make it. And it just illustrates the profound impact that we had as a team, as a group, as a family, and the close-knit effect it had on the success we had, 19-3 record. And as the coach said today, the fact that we understand team concept is so important, and not caring who gets the credit individually is so important. And because of that, we've got a tremendous bond. And I think a lot of our guys continue to be successful because of what we learned in a college classroom, but maybe most importantly sometimes on a basketball court with 13 players and coaches who are working towards a goal and understanding that it's the same in every part of your life. If you work together and you know your role and you don't care who gets the credit, you can achieve unbelievable successes. And the fact that we're still friends after 45 years and come back, and the wife and the sons of a deceased member of this great team want to come back and be a part of it illustrates what a great 4 years we had on the Union College campus and how it impacted our life, and maybe the most important years of our life in terms of our future success.
Oh, get one with the AD in it. Come on in, AD. Montana. Anybody who's in the whole neighborhood's in